We're back for another episode of Lifestyle Self-Made, and I'm your host, Alice Seba, and it's the topic that I was talking about a long time ago in trying to get the episode together. I got quite a few of your submissions as well, and the topic is a morning routine and what a difference it can make in times when you just generally, or in times where maybe life is a little less structured and you need a little bit more structure in it. I have to say, I'll be 54 in May, and I feel like I did not actually have a morning routine until I was about 52. And that's when kind of anxiety hit with menopause. It hit before, but it became a little more difficult to manage. And I realized that I needed to do something because I am a person who, and you might be the same way, that you just fly by the seat of your pants and see how things go. Also, I have been blessed to be working from home for a couple decades. So it also makes going with the flow a lot easier. But I know that a lot of listeners may have day jobs or other things that take up a lot of time. Young kids, my kids are older now. When your kids are little, your routine is largely dictated by them, that's for sure. So I found that, that when there was a bit more anxiety and also caring for the two senior dogs who have now passed, it just became critical that I had a morning routine. Some of that routine was caring for them, but also that I had to care for myself. And if you listen to the episode on the myth of consistency, then we touch on that one as well. So if you enjoyed this episode and you want to dig more into finding not a routine for routine's sake, but something that really helps you get started in your day or get through the day, create some calm or whatever it is you need, then I think that episode will be a great companion to this. Also, we do have the list of 50 ideas for adding more self-care into your morning routine in 2 minutes or less. So each idea can take up to 2 minutes or less. So everybody has time to add a little bit more of those things. And it's absolutely true that when you do take the time to make something just a little special for you, that it feels good. I do want to say, though, that sometimes I feel like, and one of the reasons I resisted a morning routine was because I often heard people say that they feel totally off when they didn't get their coffee or whatever. That's also the caffeine addiction, possibly, too. But like that they feel off when things aren't done. And I have to say that I do feel that as well. So there is a bit of like necessary calmness. So you can add other things into your day when you can actually do the things that mean the most to you. And just a few ideas from that list of 50, and I'll leave the link for you to download it as well, is stretch or do 2 minutes of gentle yoga. Personally, I do a half hour of yoga pretty much every day. There are some days where I may skip it, and I let it go. Hug your pet and tell them you love them. And now that the two dogs are gone and I have the kitty cat now, she knows that's one of the important things that I do in the morning. And also things as simple as squeeze lemon, lime, or orange into your water. Like, it's good for you. It has health benefits, but it also feels a little bit special. I also, personally, I foam milk to put in my morning coffee or tea and share a little bit with the kitty cat and tell her I love her and what a good girl she is. I know milk isn't so great for them. She just licks a little bit off the spoon at the end. So it makes this little special routine. She knows when I'm starting to froth the milk and she comes down. And we do that. You could light a candle or turn on a soft lamp, especially in those dark days of winter. That is something that can really add some warmth as well. Maybe you have an essential oil diffuser. Turn that on. Slow down to take 3 deep breaths. I'll let you go through that list as well, because I want to go through some of these submissions that we got as well and talk about it, because it's going to be different for everybody and everybody needs something different. But it's always possible to take a couple minutes to do something for yourself. You set the alarm 10 minutes earlier, and even though sleep is precious, maybe get to bed 10 minutes earlier as well. All right. So a listener says, I'm not a morning person. I suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome due to a severe chronic pain condition that causes significant pain at night, making it extremely difficult to sleep. I need coffee first, then I jump into my daily tasks if my pain level allows. My medical condition dictates my life, not the other way around. Unfortunately, so I have learned to adapt as best as possible. And I can understand that. I also have pain, but I'm thinking that this is a much more extreme thing. But maybe you can find ways that you are doing a little bit of stretching. And I know that sometimes it's hard to think about exercise when you are in pain. But personally, and I know that your situation might be totally different, that exercise is often what we need when we think we should avoid it. And not heavy exercise. I'm talking about just yoga, right? And it's my favorite because it doesn't get your heart rate up too high and you have to take a shower, you have to wash your hair and think it adds work. But a simple 10-minute yoga, easy stretching, like it just makes a whole lot of difference for pain. I have a lot of, I think, sciatica. It's not diagnosed, but like pain that just shoots down my hip. And it like sometimes hurts all the way down to the ankle and it's awful. Or my neck. I don't know what I do into my neck when I'm sleeping as well. But I find that yes, it's tempting to not do something. But then I find that if I just consistently do that stretching, that yoga, that then some of it works itself out. Plus, gives you some clarity as where I know chronic fatigue syndrome, probably that you have this fog in your head, and then you're talking about doing daily tasks if your pain level allows, right? And that's tough. But if you can do something that also clears your head a little bit and helps you relax, then perhaps it might be helpful. But yeah, just take some more time for yourself, a few minutes if you can. Go through that list and see if something else, because pain makes us feel tense. And when we can relax just a little, even if it's still painful, it makes things a lot more bearable. So Casey says, I have my morning coffee and my morning all bran. I have a vape and then I journal and do my gratitude journal. And then I usually begin the day with meditation music and my to-do list and planning for the day or go over what I've already planned and start one day either with work or with my life coaching business. So it sounds like there is a morning routine and I love it if it works for you. I also find too on the days, like I am a writer, but I'm not a big journaler, but I find, and obviously Casey finds this beneficial too, that on the days if I feel particularly stressed out or I feel sad about something, that, yeah, I have this little notebook that it's a nice little notebook. It's got flower pages and stuff, and I feel like I am a poet. I've always been into writing poetry, and I actually find it a great way to journal in poetry because you don't have to write as many words to have say as much. So I maybe also do little designs around the flower with words like writing. And the act of just doing that for 5 minutes, like it allows me to let go of all that stuff. And then occasionally I go back because that's what that journal is for. It's just for the hard days. And sometimes I go back and I read it and I love the things that I said and it reminds me of the things that I could be grateful for or see the things that worried me and then they didn't have to worry me. So I find that super helpful. And then I have different notebooks for different things when I'm writing things down. And I have to say, I probably, in that particular journal, I probably write in it a couple times a month. Sometimes I might skip a month, but it's always there. And it's this special thing that I know if things are rough, let's get into it. 5 minutes, and then I'm able to get things going. Another listener says about their morning routine is no alarm, waking up based on natural body rhythms, no screen for first hour upon waking. Wow, that's awesome, actually. I do love that. I rarely have an alarm either. I'm blessed to be able to do that. Only if there's something going on. It is great to get rid of that alarm. But the no screens for first hour upon waking that the listener also says that's pretty incredible. I don't know if I can manage that. And I do have this I know that I'm sharing because I'm not having a conversation with you guys. I would ask you more questions. So I'm sharing my experience as it's related. So I hope it's useful, even though I'm talking about my experience. I do think that I often open Twitter when I get up, and I think that is a mistake because Twitter is a place where you learn about things that are not going on, great things that are going on in the world. And also, if you get into the comment section, you might be experiencing something that is not kind. I actually find it really interesting, and I have been thinking about that lately too, is to spend less time there or at least not go into the comments because I'm in my real life, I wouldn't associate with people like this that are so unkind and wish terrible things for their fellow humans. It's like that person would never be in my real life. And even if I came across them in my real life, it would be like I would remove myself from the situation. But for some reason in the online world, I am intrigued by it and I might engage it. And maybe that's not so good for me. Not sure if you experienced the same. Yeah, I love it. I might be inspired to try 15 minutes. I don't know about an hour. You're a hero. All right. And then we have Sonia, and Sonia says, with my diabetes, I have something called dawn phenomenon, where my liver shares any stored glucose into the rest of the body. So I am awake and ready to go at 6 a.m. I do prepare for this and go to bed at 9 p.m. Thankfully, I have my activity center next door, so I put on my suit and head for the pool. I'm not really a swimmer, but there is a river walk where I can walk against the flow or have resistance against the flow. It's been cold, so I have to shower and change before walking home. Then I walk my 2 dogs. They are old and have to go separately as their pace is different. I meditate for 20 minutes, then breakfast and coffee. My granddaughter calls on her way to school. She's 4. Sweet. And has to tell me what she's wearing and what she'll do on this day. Oh, awesome. Fashion updates. Then I head to my office upstairs to be ready for all that life holds. That's great. And that's like an amazing example of adapting. You're going to wake up. I was the same. I would have to get up 5 with the dogs. And I tend to wake up very early because I do have trouble sleeping as well. And so I know that I might not be able to sleep past 6. So I go to bed early and everybody knows that it's okay, dinner's done. I'm ready to wind down. It's going to be bedtime soon. And that's how it is, right? And I love that Sonia is also just working with what there is. And what a blessing to be hearing from your granddaughter every single morning. That's so nice. Cherish those times. All right, another listener says, getting out of bed but not wanting to because I sleep on average of 4.5 hours a day. After washing my face and brushing my teeth and taking medications, I drink coffee and avoid work and cleaning until I feel guilty. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, lack of sleep can really mess with you. And that's the thing I've been really focusing on myself as well, is like improving that sleep. I can fall asleep easily, but then I wake up a lot. And I'm not sure what your experience is as well. I wake up a lot, often hot flashes, menopause hot flashes, and those hot flashes cause anxiety for me. It's almost like this state of panic. And if I'm awake and I get a hot flash and I feel this sort of anxiety creeping, I know what it is, but when I'm sleeping, it doesn't. And now I'm more aware of it and I can tone it down. But yeah, it's like it's so hard when you can't sleep and then it makes it worse, right? So if you already feel terrible while you're sleeping and then you don't get enough sleep and then you feel even worse. I hope that maybe when you left that comment, you were able to grab that download of 50 ideas and maybe incorporate a little bit more into that. And I totally know the feeling of the guilty feeling, right? Where you need to get stuff done, but it's so hard. And then you just feel bad and everything compounds, right? So I don't know if it's helpful to adding that little bit of self-care, but also even when we feel terrible, I think it's always good to push ourselves a little bit further than we think we can do. Maybe it's 10 minutes of digging into a to-do list or doing something, right? And every little bit of progress that you make, you feel good that you did that, right? And you thought you couldn't do it and you did it. And then it helps you continue to go. That doesn't mean everything's going to be great all of a sudden, but it means that you aren't allowing those feelings to take, which are very real and you're being physically affected by not sleeping. But you're not allowing it to completely take over in how you function in a day. I have also, I don't know if it's useful to anyone, and I'm not someone who has ever really taken supplements or suggests like medications. I am a bit of a yoga bully, and I do try to tell everyone yoga will fix everything. But when it comes to consuming things, I don't usually talk about those things. But I was having a lot of trouble as early as 6 weeks ago, and I still am having trouble sleeping, but it's not the same. So I was doing research and I talked to a lovely lady in my local area. She runs the Women in Business group here. And I was telling her about the menopause, the hot flashes. And she said to me, she says, you need to take magnesium and yam cream and then also lavender essential oil. So I looked into those things, and the yam cream seemed maybe like it's a placebo, didn't seem to have any effect. And I'm not providing any kind of medical or scientific advice because I actually am not like for the magnesium. I forgot what it does, but it's something that we might be lacking in this changing hormones time. So I did start taking that, and I think it's been helpful. But what really I found helpful is this lavender essential oil. It's capsules that you do consume. It's not like the oil you purchase for aromatherapy or something like that. It's actually for consumption. And it takes I felt like I could notice a little difference quite quickly. And I have been taking it probably for 6 weeks now. And I really feel like my sleep is different. I wake up a lot still, but I'm able to maintain the calm and I'm able to get back to sleep more easily. And I don't have that overall terrible feeling. I've also just started looking into saffron extract, which is supposed to help with mood and stuff like that too. And I am just researching it a little bit more and may add that and see how it helps as well. Because, yeah, how you feel makes such a big difference in everything and how you function and how you get things done. So it's worth trying to figure something out. And personally, I'm not someone who would like to take even supplements, natural things I rarely have taken before, but I felt like it was at a point where I really needed to take charge. And I'm glad because this first step that I take has been helpful for me. So Mary says, no more chaos in the morning. I'm a semi-retired therapist and work from home. I move as slow or fast as I like. Let's be real, I'm always starting slow. Every morning starts with a streaming cup of black currant tea, and I just go from there. That's nice. I love it. It's like it's what works for you, right? Very simple. Very simple. And yeah, it's quite a blessing, right? To be able to move at your own pace. But again, if you can't, for people, because I know a lot of people listening, that will be like that. That's not me. I got to get all this stuff done. I got to get out of the house. I got to do that. But if you can find those moments, find something that's special that makes things more bearable, things that can help you release tension or a little bit of stress, or if you're in pain, right? Really take the time to figure out what would work and experiment with the different things and what really speaks to you. So Melissa says, I feel like my entire life is pure chaos. Would love these tips. Okay, so on how to add self-care to my morning routine. Thanks in advance. So Melissa, that was before Melissa got the download. So I hope that it has been helpful, that you found a few things in there. And yeah, maybe we'll look at the list a little bit too, because different things will speak to different people. So smile at yourself in the mirror, right? Very short thing. Don't criticize, just smile and you're a wonderful person. Make your bed slowly and mindfully. That one's there, but I never actually make my bed. I've never cared about it. I do not care if my bed is made. I'm just gonna hop in. I don't like to have the flat sheets because they get all messed up. I just like to have a quilt and my several pillows, and I'm good with it. But I know that for a lot of people, making your bed makes you feel like, you've done something, you've got order. But it doesn't really bother me because I like my kitchen in order and the other parts of the house and stuff. But the bed I don't know, just doesn't do that for me, but it may do that for you. Sip a glass of water before coffee. Obviously, hydrating is a good thing. Step outside for a minute of fresh air. Open a window and listen to the morning sounds. Put on cozy socks or slippers, especially nice in the winter. Wash your face with cool water. Brush your hair slowly and enjoy the sensation. Write one thing you're grateful for. Write one intention for the day. Play a song that makes you happy. Music is great, right? Dance for 1 minute. Hey, why not? Take a slow, mindful sip of your drink. Just sometimes the act of slowing down, even though we're doing these things, we're drinking that coffee to give us the energy, but just being more mindful about it. All right. And another listener, it says total chaos. That is the entire comment. And I get it. I understand. Mine were chaos at one point too. All right. So Amy says, you asked for honest, you're getting honest. I wake up and settle in with my breakfast and coffee. Then I go over my tasks that are overdue or due that day and adjust my schedule so I'm not overloaded. I'll do affirmations followed up by unproductive phone games and doom scrolling. Then I'll hide in my inbox until I feel guilty about how much time I've wasted. Then I'll finally get around to setting a Pomodoro and starting my scheduled tasks. So yeah. So it sounds like a lot of things are not getting done, right? When Amy says the tasks that are overdue. And it sounds like there's some good things, affirmations. Then there's the phone games and doom scrolling, which I guess I do as well. It's always Twitter, though. I like to stay up to date on the news, but how many times do I have to see the same news? So I get it. But I wonder why. Why? Maybe there's something else you could replace with that. You need some time. You need some you time before you move on to doing your work. And that's totally fair. I know Yusuf, also my partner here at Lifestyle Self-Made and eKit Hub, he also needs that. I'm the kind of person, I'll do my yoga, I'll have my special water and my coffee with the foam, and then I'm good. And then I'm straight into work and I'm actually excited to get into work. I sometimes want to skip the yoga and do the work. But I tell myself, no, I need to do that. But I wonder for you, and like Yusuf, yeah, he needs that time. He listens to some podcasts. He likes to listen to finance news, but sometimes he gets into those news things too that maybe aren't as good. But I think that it's about finding something else that maybe is a little more for you, that self-care stuff, or things, whether, you're doing affirmations, maybe journaling, maybe a little bit of exercise, whether it's stretching, yoga, or getting something else done. I also find that sometimes when I do settle, usually I am excited about getting into work, but sometimes it's hard to get right into the tasks. And I find that I warm up sometimes by going to some of our community and start sharing some things. And it's a form of journaling too, talking about what I'm working on or things that I have in mind for my audience. And then it makes, I don't know, it just warms me up, and it is productive because I do need to nurture our community and communicate with them as well. And then that makes me feel like I can go on to the next task. And it sounds like the Pomodoro is working for you. I think it's very interesting. I'm not super familiar with it because it's a method that will just not work for me. But I will say as much as I can about it in case someone might find it, if they're having trouble staying focused on work. I think it's maybe 20-minute intervals, or I think you can set it at different times. You'd have to look into it. But you are setting a timer, and then you take a break. And I don't really know what the break entails, but it's because people can't focus for long periods of time. I actually feel like I'm a person who can focus for a long period of time, and I don't want to interrupt myself. I work long stretches and then take that break. So it's called Pomodoro, Pomodoro, if anybody wants to look into it, because I've heard a lot of people say that they find it really helpful. We have a couple more. So another listener says, mornings are rough. I'm a PTSD veteran with chronic pain. Therapy and meds have helped a lot, but getting started is slow. And yeah, I'm really sorry to hear that. And thank you for your service. And that's a lot going on. PTSD and chronic pain, which often are related to, and I'm not sure if it's an injury or something, but when our mental health is suffering, it does affect our body pain. Like when my anxiety was at its height, it hurts, right? It really hurts. And so therapy and meds sounds good too, but maybe look at that list as well if there's other things you can incorporate, things that calm you, right? That make things feel more bearable and help you get ready for your day. So Nancy says, I start my morning with a cup of hot water, then move into my office where I read for 20 minutes, write for 20 minutes, and then check email. I have my list of 3 things to do that I made the night before. I always add something to the list in the morning. Then I go for a 30-minute walk in my neighborhood. That is on a good day. Sometimes I throw discipline out the window and have tea with my husband, watch the shopping channel, get dressed at noon, and maybe get one thing done on my list. I feel bad when I throw discipline out the window, but I feel I need to have some freedom and more independence on some days. I have not learned how to work focused for 3 hours a day and stop. So I think it sounds like you're listening to your body and your mind, what it needs, but then you feel bad about it, if I'm understanding correctly. And I get that too. And I'm learning to start to let a lot of that go, because overall, when I look at my weeks, I can say, wow, you got a lot done. You probably got more done than you needed to get done. And that I have to give myself that. And I have to give myself the time to reset whatever it is. That's lovely. You spend time with your husband. You watch the shopping channel. If that brings you joy, then please. That's wonderful. Get dressed at noon. Goodness gracious. I sometimes don't get dressed. I just get out of bed and the day happens. I mean, my daytime and nighttime wardrobe blend together, and I don't worry too much about that because we have to be kind to ourselves. And I think the more kind we are, and I think that might be a common theme for a lot of the people we've talked, but whose messages I shared today, is that we are so hard on ourselves. And the harder we are on ourselves, the harder it is to get stuff done, right? We have to be kind to ourselves. We have to take time for ourselves. We have to nurture our minds and our bodies. And the more we invest into that, the more capable we will become. It can really be like a vicious cycle, right? And you have to find the ways out of it. All right. So maybe before we wrap up, I'll just read a few more from the list. Look at a photo that makes you smile. Watch the steam rise from your cup. All these things that just have you slowing down for a moment, appreciating being in that moment, because when you're thinking about 10 steps ahead, I remember, like, even in our work, Yusa recently told me, it's like you're racing against time, because I'm always like thinking I don't have enough time to do stuff. I got too much to do, but I don't really have too much to do. It's just like I'm way ahead. So everything that keeps you in the present moment, which has been feeling a lot better these past times now that I've been working on my sleep and stuff like that, right? That if don't feel that as much. All right. Roll your shoulders back 3 times. Just slowly. Take a moment for yourself. Stretch your hands and your wrists. Look up at the sky and take a breath. Light incense or smudge gently. Read one inspiring quote. Do 10 squats or a few jumping jacks, something to get the blood flowing, right? Doesn't have to be a big exercise routine. Slowly use your favorite hand cream, right? Or foot cream, and massage your feet. Those are small things and things that we forget to do. And then in the winter or even in the summer, our skin gets really dry and that doesn't feel so great either. Like, take the time to moisturize. Have that be your 2 minutes of self-care in the morning. Wrap yourself in a blanket for one quiet moment. Sit in silence, whisper an affirmation, write down one small thing you'll enjoy today. Do a quick tidy of your nightstand. Sometimes that just active cleaning. I actually find that, yeah, tidying in the morning, sometimes I don't need to, but often it just makes me feel more clear-headed, making sure the kitchen is clean and like just that it feels like I don't have to do that later and it feels nice. Things are not cluttered. Yeah. Whatever it is that works for you, I think it's worth trying different things. And you'll see what works for you best and what makes your morning routine. And I hope that it helps you sleep better. It helps you get your day started better, that your body feels better and your mind feels better. I wish you guys the best. And if you don't have that list of 50 things, I will put the link there. I'll also put a link to that consistency myth episode where we do get into these routines that we think we have to do, but we don't realize that maybe we need to sit back and think, is this the best thing for me? Or do I have to do these things? Or why am I doing these things? And I think it's a very helpful episode that people seem to resonate with. All right, that's it for me, and I will be talking to you soon. I would love your feedback, and or if you need a hand with anything or would like to learn more about anything I said, happy to help.